Hello and welcome back to Learn the Bible in a Year for March 17th, 2026. Today is St. Patrick's Day. Today we celebrate the patron saint of Ireland by wearing green, eating corned beef, and pretending that we have Irish ancestry. St. Patrick, for what it's worth, was actually a missionary who was kidnapped as a teenager, enslaved in Ireland, escaped, and then, in a move that defies all logic, went back voluntarily to share the gospel with the people who enslaved him. So if you're looking for a Bible connection, there it is. The man is basically living the book of Numbers before Numbers was cool. Today we're covering one of the stranger passages in Numbers, and then one of the most beautiful passages in Numbers. And then finally we get to the birth of Jesus in Luke 2, which, yes, is technically a Christmas passage, but Christmas is my favorite way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Isn't it yours? All right, let's jump into our Old Testament reading. So we're still in Numbers, and today we pick up in the middle of chapter 5 with what is honestly one of the most unusual passages in the entire Torah. It's called Sotah, the jealousy ordeal. And if you have never heard of it before, well, buckle up. So here's the setup. A husband suspects his wife of adultery, but there's no witnesses and no proof. In the ancient world, that was a dangerous situation for everybody involved. Without a legal process, a jealous husband could divorce his wife on suspicion alone, or worse. The woman had no recourse. The accusation could ruin her just by itself. So God gives Israel a procedure. The husband brings his wife to the priest with a grain offering, a barley of flour, no oil, no incense because it's not a celebration. The priest takes holy water in a clay jar, mixes in dust from the tabernacle floor, and writes a curse on a scroll. Then he washes the ink off the scroll in water, and the woman drinks it. If she is guilty, the text says the water will cause physical suffering. Her belly will swell, her thigh will shrivel. If she's innocent, nothing will happen, and she's declared clean. Now, a question you might have here is this fair? Is this just? Is God really asking a woman to drink cursed water to prove her innocence? Well, here's what's actually going on here. In the ancient Near Eastern world, water ordeals were actually very common, but in most of them, the parties were thrown into a river, and whoever survived was declared innocent. It was trial by drowning, literally. So Numbers 5 is actually radically different. This woman is not thrown into a river, thank God. She is brought before the Lord. The judgment is not left to a human court or to a physical survival contest. It's left entirely to God. The priest is not the judge, the husband is not the judge, God is the judge. And here is how the mercy is built into this system. If the woman is innocent, she's publicly cleared. Remember, we are in a culture where accusation alone could completely destroy a woman's reputation. And this gave an innocent woman a path to vindication that no other ancient legal system provided. And there's also a remarkable Christ forward connection here. At the cross, Jesus drinks a cup of judgment. He drinks the bitter water. The curse was written against sin, so that his bride, the church, can be declared clean. The imagery is not accidental, it runs all the way through from the book of Numbers to Jesus. Now, moving into Numbers chapter 6, the tone shifts completely. Chapter 6 introduces the Nazirite vow. It's one of the most distinctive institutions in all of ancient Israel, and it's pretty famous because we know it through the whole Samson's hair thing. The word Nazirite comes from the Hebrew word nazar, which means to separate or to consecrate. A Nazirite was someone who voluntarily took a vow of special dedication to God for a set period of time. And here's what makes this remarkable. The vow was open to anyone, man or woman, rich or poor. You did not have to be a priest. You did not have to be from the tribe of Levi. Any Israelite could step up into this level of consecration. The vow had 3 requirements. First, no grape products of any kind, which means no wine, no vinegar, no grape juice, not even raisins or grape seeds. Second, no cutting of the hair for the duration of the vow. And the third, no contact with a dead body, not even the body of parents or siblings. These 3 restrictions touch 3 core areas of ordinary life: appetite, appearance, and association. The Nazirite was saying, for this reason, I am setting aside normal pleasures and normal relationships to be wholly focused on God. The uncut hair was not just a quirk either. This was a visible sign, a public banner of dedication. The text says that the hair was a symbol of consecration to God, and everyone who saw a Nazarite knew something was different about that person. You could literally see it physically. When the vow was finished, the Nazarite came to the tabernacle, offered a series of sacrifices, burnt offering, sin offering, peace offering, and then shaved the consecrated hair and burned it on the fire under the peace offering. Every moment of the vow handed back to God in worship. Now, the most famous lifelong Nazarites in the Bible were Samson, Samuel, and John the Baptist. Each of them was set apart from birth for a specific mission, and each of them points forward, in their own way, to the one who embodied perfect separation from sin, not for a season, but forever. And of course, we're talking about Jesus. And now we jump into the New Testament, and today we've got one of the most familiar passages in the entire Bible, and because of that, it's one of the hardest to actually hear. It's this thing that, at least I've learned it as, called the lullaby effect. We've heard these things so many times that it starts to become kind of numb to us, and then we lose the wonder of what the story actually is. So we're going to try not to do that today. So Luke is a careful historian, and so he sets the scene with a political detail. Caesar Augustus had issued a decree for a census in the entire Roman Empire. Everyone must return to their ancestral hometown in order to register. This was not a small thing. Caesar Augustus was the most powerful man in the world. His word moved millions of people, and God used his bureaucratic census to move one couple from Nazareth to Bethlehem, fulfilling a prophecy written 700 years earlier by the prophet Micah, who said that the ruler of Israel would come from Bethlehem. So Joseph and Mary make a journey south. When they arrive in Bethlehem, there is no room for them in the inn, and so Mary gives birth in a stable. So it's actually more like a cave. It's a ground floor room where animals were kept. The exact setting is debated a little bit, but she wraps her newborn son, who is Jesus, in strips of cloth and lays him in a feeding trough or a manger. The Son of God is in a manger where the cows eat. That's pretty interesting. This is what theologians call the kenosis. This is a self-emptying. This is one through whom which all things were made, who existed before time, who holds the universe together, and he enters the world as an infant who cannot even hold his own head up. Meanwhile, outside the city, there were shepherds in fields keeping watch over their flocks. Shepherds in the first century were not romantic figures. They were considered ceremonially unclean much of the time because of the constant contact with animals, and they were not allowed to testify in court. They were on the social margins, if you will. And these were the people that God sends angels to first. Now, when an angel appears, the glory of the Lord blazes around them, and they are all terrified. And the angel here is not just announcing an event, he is gospeling the shepherds, if you will. He is delivering the best news the world has ever received to the people the world had already written off. A Savior's been born. He is the Christ. He is the Lord. The sign is a baby in a manger. And then the skies fill with angels, a great multitude of heavenly hosts praising God. When the angels leave, the shepherds don't debate. They don't wait for any more confirmation. They say, let's go see this thing. And they run to Bethlehem. Wouldn't you do the same thing? I think I would. They find the baby exactly where the angel said he would be. They tell everyone what the angel told them. Everyone hears it and is amazed, and then they go back to their fields, glorifying and praising God. And Luke adds one little detail here. He says that Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. She had been visited by an angel. She had sung the song, her Mary song. She had carried the Son of God for 9 months, and now shepherds are showing up in the middle of the night telling her what the angel said. She treasures it, she held it, and she turned it over in her heart like something precious and not fully understood. And I think it's a good posture for all of our hearts as well. All right, finally today we land in Proverbs 7 and we're picking up in verse 6. And it goes like this. For at the window of my house I looked through the lattice. I saw among the simple, I noticed among the youths, a young man lacking judgment, crossing the street near her corner, strolling down the road to her house. at twilight, as day was fading, into the dark of night. Then a woman came out to meet him, with the attire of a harlot and cunning of heart. She is loud and defiant. Her feet do not remain at home. Now in the street, now in the squares, she lurks at every corner. She seizes him and kisses him. She brazenly says to him, I have made my peace offerings. Today I have paid my vows. So I come out to meet you. I sought you and I have found you. I have decked my bed with coverings, with colored linen from Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, with aloes, and with cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love till morning. Let us delight in loving careless. For my husband is not home. He has gone on a long journey. He took with him a bag of money and will not return till the moon is full. Man, this is kind of a cliffhanger scripture to leave on today, but that's what we're going to do. Alrighty, and this show has been brought to you by our wonderful sponsor, Covenant Security Equipment, which is a Christian-owned company that partners with building contractors who build with safety in mind. They provide bullet-resistant windows and secure transaction systems and drive-through installations and much, much more. If this is interesting to you, go to covenantsecurityequipment.com and support our sponsors over there. And also, don't forget to pick up your copy of the Learn the Bible in a Year workbook. I did write this book, and I wrote it for you. It's kind of like a journal. It has additional questions and fun facts about our daily readings. The digital version is totally for free. You can also pick up the paperback version. That's the version that I prefer because I like writing things down with my pencil here. Either one of those versions, the link to those is in the show notes, so go check it out there. Alrighty, what was your main takeaway from today's reading? There were a couple of really good things that we read through today, but I think to me what stood out the most is the shepherds. Now, the shepherds, they were outcasts in society. They would have been considered unclean, very low class people in that society. And when Jesus was born, the angels went to them. They went to the outcasts, if you will, the ones who would be considered the least economically valuable. And the angels went to them to announce Jesus' birth. And I think that's just a good starting point for the Gospels. And this is totally in line with the nature of Jesus, to find the outcast, to find the downtrodden, and go to them first. God did not come to make people who are already at the top feel better. He is here for the sick. That's what he said. So, anyways, I just love seeing that imagery and seeing that same theme throughout the entire book of Luke as we're going to read. What was your main takeaway for today? I would love to hear what you think in the comment section, wherever it is that you're listening to this podcast. Alrighty, well, that is the episode for today, and I will see all of you cool cats again here tomorrow.